Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Let us reflect on verse 7 from Surah Al-Imran. Sometimes when we read the Quran, we understand certain verses clearly, and other times we come across meanings that feel deeper than what we can fully grasp. Today, let's reflect on how Allah teaches us to respond in those moments. This verse gives us a gentle lesson about how we should approach the Quran with the right kind of heart. This verse teaches us something very important about how we approach the Quran. It reminds us that the Quran contains clear verses that are easy to understand, and also verses whose full meaning only Allah truly knows. This verse guides us to stay humble when learning our religion. It teaches us not to argue proudly about things we do not fully understand. Instead, it encourages us to trust Allah and stay focused on what strengthens our faith and character. The verse also describes two types of hearts. One heart looks for confusion and arguments. The other heart looks for guidance and truth. This verse gently invites us to choose the second path. It reminds us that sincerity and humility open the door to wisdom. If we look a little more closely at what Allah is telling us here, we begin to see a beautiful balance between knowledge and humility. In this verse, Allah tells us that the Quran contains two kinds of verses. Some verses are clear and direct. These verses teach us about prayer, honesty, kindness, justice, patience, and belief. They are the foundation of our faith. Other verses are not fully clear to human understanding. Their deeper meanings belong to Allah. These verses remind us that our knowledge is limited. The verse explains that people with weak or dishonest intentions focus too much on unclear matters. They argue and create confusion. But people with strong faith say, "We believe in all of it. Everything is from our Lord." This shows us that true faith includes trust, humility, and respect for divine wisdom. A sincere believer accepts what is clear and remains humble about what is not fully understood. When we look at the context of this verse, its message becomes even clearer. Some people sincerely searched for guidance. Others argued only to create doubt and confusion. This verse helped believers understand how to respond. It taught them to stay firm on clear teachings and avoid unnecessary disputes about hidden meanings. This verse encourages believers to focus on what strengthens faith and avoid following doubtful interpretations that lead to confusion. Even in our time, this verse speaks directly to the confusion many people feel when trying to understand religion. Today, people can easily feel overwhelmed by too many opinions about religion. Social media, videos, and online debates often create confusion instead of clarity. A person may start with a simple question but end up feeling more uncertain than before. This verse teaches us a peaceful approach. Instead of chasing every argument, we can focus on what is clear and helpful. For example, we know that kindness matters. We know prayer brings peace. We know honesty builds trust. These teachings are already enough to guide a beautiful life. Sometimes a person may wonder about deep questions that do not have simple answers. It is okay to say, "Allah knows best." This is not a weakness. It is wisdom. Think about someone caring for a small plant at home. They do not need to understand every detail of how roots grow under the soil. They only need to water it regularly and place it in sunlight. In the same way, faith grows when we practice what is clear instead of worrying about what is hidden. This verse is not only meant to be understood, it's meant to shape how we live. And here are the simple ways we can begin with. We can begin by focusing on the clear teachings of the Quran each day. Make prayer a steady habit, even if life feels busy. Prayer keeps the heart calm and connected to Allah. When you hear confusing religious arguments, pause and ask whether they increase your faith or only increase stress. Choose what strengthens your heart. Stay humble when learning. It is good to ask questions, but it is also good to accept that some knowledge belongs only to Allah. Say Allah knows best, with peace in your heart when something is unclear. This builds trust instead of worry. Spend more time improving your character than winning arguments. Kindness, patience, and honesty are signs of true understanding. If we gather the main reminders from this verse and keep them close to our hearts, a few powerful lessons stand out. The Quran contains both clear guidance and deeper meanings known fully only to Allah. True believers accept all revelation with trust and humility. Seeking arguments for confusion weakens faith. Focusing on clear teachings strengthens the heart. Humility opens the door to wisdom. Real understanding leads to better character. Maybe this is a good moment to pause and ask ourselves something honestly. Do I spend more time trying to win arguments about religion, or trying to live the clear teachings of the Quran in my daily life? May Allah guide our hearts and increase us in understanding. Ameen. If this reflection benefited you, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and help these reminders reach others.